So, we've got Lakefront Hangover, episode 5. Jesus, it's like we're brothers. We were right in sync there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That actually happens a little bit occasionally, but yeah, it happens a lot. So, anyways, jumping right into it, this episode we got to meet Gerardo.
Yeah, they've been introduced in prior episodes, just kind of softly introduced, but this episode had him prominently involved in it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was his very first showing, but one of his first showings here at the lake.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got to meet Gerardo and see him out active showing property to his clients out of the St. Louis market.
Yeah.
Apparently in the real estate market up there, whether realtors or just builders, developers, or something. So,
yeah. And what's interesting that I want to jump right into is I'm sure a lot of people are sitting there thinking about the gorilla.
Yeah.
And they're like, God, man, what's wrong with these people? Or how, why do you have to have a place for this gorilla?
Yeah, and when they first talked about the gorilla, it's like, really? They've got a live gorilla or something? Yeah. It's like they got a live gorilla as a pet? I mean, good Lord.
Well, but wait a minute. We actually know somebody who actually had the therapy where they had a monkey.
Yeah, and that's the thing, therapy monkey, you say animals and stuff.
Everybody's got their thing. We're not judging. I mean, obviously everybody judges to some extent, but at the same time, hey, whatever works for you. So these folks have a gorilla, a statue that they have to have wherever they go, kind of like a good luck charm, probably, something like that.
And apparently it's a thing that I wasn't aware of, and I asked you, you're not aware of, that people seek out this gorilla and go up and get pictures of it and stuff.
Well, let's be honest. We didn't have a boat until last year. I finally bought a boat, and Jonas has always said what's mine is his, and
exactly.
what's his is his. So it's kind of like my wife. You and my wife get along a lot.
Well, and all the grief you gave me growing up and everything. So it's punishment.
But yeah, we don't get out on the lake a whole lot. I mean, most of the time on the weekends, we're out showing property, we're talking to our clients, and then during the week, we're following up on paperwork, contracts, stuff like that. So it's tough for us to get out on the water. So yeah, we've never been out. We've never seen this gorilla.
Haven't seen it. No.
It's quite cool. I mean, if I saw it on the lake, I'd probably be like, hey, I want to get a picture with the gorilla.
Yeah, and I could see as well, as much of a talking point it is and people enjoy it, I could see them wanting to take it with them.
So some people might call that pretentious. We just say, hey, they know what they're looking for, they know what they want, and they're taking that gorilla with them, so no problem.
And that's the best kind of client, when they know what they want. It's they can clearly articulate to you what it is they want, what they need, and it makes it a lot easier for you to work with them and coach them to finding what they want.
Absolutely. So they looked at what was the first house they looked at?
The house way up on the hill.
Oh, that's right.
They were showing up by boats, and they were concerned about whether the boat would even fit in the dock or anything. Cause it's not like they were rolling in there in a little runabout or something like that. They showed up in a big, basically a yacht. But I mean, he backed that thing in there like a champ too. He knew what he was doing.
Most of those guys, and the stabilizers they've got on those things
absolutely.
Now. It's like a joystick.
You got side thrusters and everything.
Yeah. So and they had to climb up an immense amount of stairs.
Kudos to them. Kudos to Peggy and to the gentleman's wife to make that climb up there, because I don't know if I'd want to do it.
Well, and a lot of people get upset about the amount of stairs. I mean, let's talk about that for a second. You look at the amount of stairs that are going up and down. So I know you had, before we started rolling on this, you had made a comment about that. Share that with the masses out there.
So what you can often see, and again, remember, Lake of the Ozarks is a man-made lake. It is literally was built. And a big part of the reason why they targeted this location is because of the natural terrain, the topography of the area. So we have a lot of, it's kind of in the Ozark Mountains. Yeah. So we have a lot of very steep hills.
Yes, we do.
Made it easy to dam up the river, fill up this region of this area of the of the country, and you've got a lake.
Yeah.
But with that comes steep property, and a lot of people have bought and built homes in locations with very steep property.
Yes.
And oftentimes you have two choices that you have to make. Either A, you can build your house closer to the road, so it's not so far down this hill, and you've got a less steep driveway.
Nice driveway.
Nice, relatively flat or gentle driveway, but and you get a much better view of the lake, but you've got a long ways to go down to the water.
Yep.
In a lot of places, we call that an Ozark Stairmaster.
That's right.
So, or what a lot of newer homes that we're seeing nowadays is they build them closer to the water. It's with, especially with vehicles now, they're so well built and everything. These driveways are so well built and everything. They go down closer to the water, and you just drive down this road to get down and park in front of your house, and now you're a lot closer to the water.
Yep.
But in this case, which it didn't look like it was a very old home,
No.
in that case, they ultimately decided to build it up closer to the road so they could really capture that view.
Yeah.
Poured in a meandering path down the water that you could take a golf cart or side-by-side down to get down to your dock.
And with the technology today, a lot of people get worried about the winter time. You can do radiant heated driveways, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
When you're spending that kind of money, you've got the capability to do those types of things. But
And I don't know about your experience, but in my experience, those buyers or those people building that home, the lake, getting to the dock is secondary to them.
Well, I see it kind of both ways. Like I had some friends of mine that had a massive cart path down, and I asked them, why didn't you build the house closer? And they said, because we wanted the better view, because we see the view 365 days out of the year. We only use the dock 120 days out of the year. So they were full-timers, and so they preferred the view over the access.
That's fair.
But, when you're a secondary homeowner, once you get to the house, most of the time, if you're just here on the weekends, you're not leaving the house except to go to the dock and back. So in my personal opinion, I see people, they'd rather have that big steep driveway down and get the house right there, because once they're there, they're just staying there and going to the water.
Yeah, and I think more often for secondary homeowners that are here on the weekends in the summertime, the dock is more important to them.
Correct.
They want to have easy access to the dock for swimming, boating, and all that stuff. A lot of your more full-time residents in a situation, and I don't know if those people were, but a lot of your more full-time residents, they're not going to the dock every day. That's not the primary purpose of having that property. They are looking for the view.
Yeah.
So that's could be part of the reason why they built closer to the road.
Yeah. And something that Jonas and I have always pointed out to people, your topography, if you think about it, if you have a steep driveway, you're going to have deep water year-round. If you got a flat driveway, you're probably going to be sitting on dry ground.
You think back to episode 1, when we were showing to the Justin and Cicely Wagner, the house up on Gentle Slopes. It was my listing.
Yep.
That property, beautiful property. Lots of people really liked it because it's flat.
Yep.
You can walk out to the water real easily.
Yep.
Very shallow water.
That's right.
That was a big part of the challenge selling that property as well. But, you have that luxury of very few steps down the water, but you're going to have shallow water to work with.
That's right. Yeah, and so you really have to pick your poison with that. If you don't mind the steep driveway, which you and I don't, because we've been doing it our whole lives, then you're going to have the deep water. But if you want that flat driveway, well, you're probably going to be sitting in mud in the wintertime. Or like I am right now with my community dock, I'm sitting in about that much water, so I'm not getting the boat out. And today it's 72. I think Saturday it's going to be 81. Guess who's not boating? This guy.
Yeah. And then always with that, there always is. You got to remember, if you're one of those sellers, or if you're a buyer looking for it, and you find one of those rare properties where you actually have a gentle or flat driveway, and very close to the water, gentle, and then deep water after that. That's such a hard find, and you're going to find oftentimes that you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, you're going to pay premium for that. I mean, you could have
That's what everybody's looking for.
Yeah, you could have a POS house, and you're going to pay like it's a brand new house for that kind of a lot.
Yep.
So we're looking at our notes, by the way. So I know you can't see them. We're trying to be professional, but we're not when it comes to filming.
Yeah, right.
So, Jonas, I can't read your handwriting.
So we were talking about Gerardo and his clients. You
Yep.
know, they were obviously looking to buy the house. They looked at that house up on the hill. Ultimately, they decided that wasn't for them because they didn't felt like there was a good place for the gorilla was the big thing.
Yep.
And there were some low ceilings in there or something, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So they moved on to another home. Which was an interesting one where it started out as one house and then eventually somebody blew out a wall and it built on a whole extension of that house and you had two sides. Gerardo was referring to the party side and then the resident side.
And we saw a bunch of that right before like the big recession. The housing collapse or whatever you want to call it. We saw a lot of people that would do that. They'd buy a house, they'd rip a wall off, and they'd expand and blow out. And so I actually thought it was really cool. I thought it was a great piece of property. If you could find a way to shut down the old side of the house and not use it and just use the new side. And then when your guests come over, they can have the old side. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I thought that was a great concept and everything. I know that one of their objections was how if you went to bed early and your guests were still up having a good time, if they wanted to go, when they were ready to go to bed, they had to walk past your bedroom.
Yeah.
You know, so there was a little bit of a loss of privacy there. But I mean, come on, it's Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah,
you
come
know,
on.
everyone's down here to have a good time. So.
You know, I look at my wife every Friday night from Memorial to Labor Day. We'll be in bed because we're early to bed. You know, 9:30.
You are that old.
I am that old. So we get to bed, and I'll just look at her and go, "Honey, the woo girls are here."
Yeah.
Because you hear right across the car, "Woo! Give me a beer!"
Exactly, having a good time.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, but yeah, I mean, so it looks like they didn't get a deal consummated.
No, they haven't. They didn't buy anything, unfortunately.
Yeah. So we didn't see anything on the show. I'm sure Gerardo's still working with them, and I'm sure they're going to find something. We are seeing an uptick in inventory. So,
Yeah.
you know, hopefully the right property comes along. Gerardo's able to help them out, and they get a good deal.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Hopefully so. Best of luck to him. He might have made a couple rookie mistakes in that, but. You know, nothing that was with him being out of Jeff City, just, rookie mistakes.
We've all made them. And, you know, the best way to learn, you know, Will Smith had a great line that I heard him say, fail early, fail often, and fail forward.
Yeah.
You know, great comment. Nobody starts off in a new area, whether it be real estate, whether it be sports, whatever it is. Nobody starts out perfect. You're going to make mistakes. Gerardo, you're doing a great job, pal. Keep it up. You'll get it down. No problem. So let's shoot over to Peggy's clients.
Yeah. Peggy, obviously, some past clients of hers that she's worked with before.
Yep.
She made, they're obviously a little bit into interior design and remodeling and whatnot. Decided they were looking for another place at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Yep.
And I thought it was great how she introduced them and she had some properties in the past that they were struggling to sell. Probably needed a little bit of staging, a little bit of freshening up. Yeah. And she brought them in, whether they act as a consultant or oversaw the work and everything, freshen up these properties, and then they sold instantly.
Yeah.
And we often see that as a situation where, there are so many good staging consultants out there that oftentimes people should bring into their homes just to give them an evaluation and stuff.
Always have a staging consultant. If your real estate practitioner is not bringing in a staging consultant to look at the property,
or at least offering it,
yeah. I mean, Jonas has got a different one than I use. We both have great staging consultants. It's great to bring a third-party person in that has no emotional tie to the property, just to help, reiterate, look, these are the things that need to be done. Hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you move this piece here? We all get...
And what you just said, it doesn't always have to be a total redo of the home, painting the walls and everything. It could very well be as simply as, like you said, moving the furniture around a little bit, throwing out a few accessories or anything.
Yeah.
Just giving it a little bit of a fresher, different look that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, I've had my staging consultant come in and she would go out and just buy some throw pillows and a rug, and it was just to put some pops of color, but it really helps out.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you got to remember, people shop with their eyes. The first thing they do is they shop with their eyes. They're looking at your property in the photos, on the MLS, on all the websites and everything, and if that stuff doesn't pop to them, they'll just move on to another one.
That's right. So if you're not using a staging consultant, get one. Get one immediately before you ever take pictures or go to the market. So we got Peggy's clients, and they had done stuff like that.
But hey, wait, we have to touch on the big announcement last night. They were so excited to announce this on national television that Sierra was pregnant.
Sierra's pregnant. She actually had the baby.
Yeah. The day after Easter.
Day after Easter, that's right.
Nice, healthy little boy there.
That's right. And we're not mentioning his name or anything. That's Sierra's business. But obviously it was on TV, so we just... Sierra, congratulations. I will tell you, welcome to Thunderdome. It's going to get real fast. So
Being a parent changes your life, doesn't it?
Did you ever think that you'd be okay having feces on your hands? And then you have a kid and you're going to get shit on.
Yeah.
I mean, basically. So,
absolutely.
But, so congratulations. We're really excited for you with your new endeavor with raising.
We wish you the best, Sierra.
Absolutely.
If you ever need any advice, call Justin. No, you call Justin.
No, I'm raising a little girl, so he's got the boys.
Yeah, it's true. But back to it, Peggy, she showed her clients Sierra's listing on the water. Which I almost was, surprised actually. I mean, it was a lakefront home. It needed a lot of work. And, priced at $400,000. Yeah. We're watching that show last night. My wife looked at me. She's like, "Really, $400,000 for this?" And then I was like, "Nancy, you do realize what lakefront property is worth?" $400,000 doesn't buy you a whole lot right now.
Which is interesting because we actually just got the first quarter stats from the MLS. Average sales price of a lakefront home for the first quarter of this year, $763,500.
Now, remember, that's the entire Lake of the Ozarks MLS. That's not just one area. That's the entire area.
That's Stover, Rocky Mount, Osage Beach,
Lake
Four
Ozarks.
Seasons, Portachima. So take all of that and combine it into the law of averages. So the average price is $763,500. So finding a house for $400,000 lakefront, I mean, if the lot's good, it's usually pretty good to go for it.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
It's hard to get burned on those things.
And a lot of your homes are lakefront homes under $500,000. They're going to need a lot of work.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do, probably may have dock work to do, siding, all kinds of, lots of updating have to be done to it. So,
I've been telling everybody $750,000 is the new $500,000. So like when I had gotten in the business, $500,000 lake house, you could get a really nice lake house with a nice dock. Now it's $750,000, and to be honest with you, that $750,000 to $1 million mark, I mean, that's tough shopping right now.
and it depends on the area you're in, but so there's a lot of people who want to be just in that price range, but you just can't find much out there.
No, I mean, you almost have to bump up to $1.2 million, $1.5 million to get something that's really good right now based on today's inventory.
And that depends on your area.
Yes.
I mean, we've seen in the show where we've sold lakefront homes for under $400,000, under $500,000.
Oh yeah.
But
they're
tough. You got to make some tough choices. You got to make some compromises on those.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to get away from the Osage Beach, Four Seasons, Portachima area, there are $500,000-$600,000 houses that are incredible out there. Ivy Bend is a great place if you're willing to drive out there. And it's great because once you're out there, it's small town vibe. Everybody knows each other. Big Dick's halfway in.
Yeah, it's an iconic place here at the lake.
You go shoot the minnow, and if you don't know about shooting the minnow, ask Jonas. He's done it.
Yeah, sure I have.
So yeah, but you look at that. So you got a $400,000 house. It needs work, but I mean, you got a lakefront $400,000 house, and they ended up not going for it.
Yeah. There's probably more. It was above their budget and needed a lot more work than they wanted to take on.
Yeah.
So
and then they went to. I swear they went to the treetops.
Yes, they went to treetops next. I do believe that they were there. That's a nice little community down there off of Lake Ozarks.
Yeah, and so those are octagon style houses that were built back in the day, and they're. The privacy, wasn't really what they were looking for, but, they're really cool houses.
Yeah, and that was a big thing, that particular one. And there's a bunch of them down there in that community.
Yes.
The one that they saw at that time did have, one of the windows for the master bedroom, primary bedroom. Primary bedroom was basically right off the road.
You can't say master bedroom on HGTV.
Yeah. Was right off the road. So now it's a quiet road, but there's a lot of.
Yeah, but it was right there next to the golf course. It was right off the road. Wasn't that one right off the golf course, or was that the other one?
I feel like that was the treetops.
Or maybe it was Hogan Drive. Anyway, obviously when you look at as much real estate as Jonas and I do, and then watch the show, it all starts blending together. But so anyways, so the treetops didn't work out. And then they went and looked at the really nice one that was all finished out, updated.
Hogan Drive,
Yeah, and they weren't ready to pull that trigger on that one.
No, again, it was a little bit above their budget, and it already had some updates done to it and everything. Plus, it was the one that had the funny little room with the octagon, the accordion style things you close to make it private, but it's all open above it and everything.
They still got those too.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't think that was intended to be a bedroom all the time, but I could see that as if you're having guests over, you need actual sleeping quarters real quick.
Yeah.
Pull that together, and maybe have like a little bed in there or something. But that's we see that location quite a bit because we like playing golf a lot. We like golfing the Cove, and it is right there along. I think she said the 15th hole of the Cove or something, 15 or 16, and you always notice them because you got those 3 units right there. And they're all individually owned. And they're kind of neat.
Yeah,
they got that octagon style, which is very unique.
Yeah.
You got kind of a circular, you're in there walking around, you got to walk around the center thing to get to all the different parts of the house and everything. But what's a really neat feature about that is you get lots of window space.
Yeah.
If you are one of like I am, I love windows. I want to have lots of natural light, lots of windows, as long as I'm not staring at somebody else's window or something. And with that style of home, that's what you see. Maximum window space and whatnot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So then they went after the blank canvas.
Uh-huh.
It was already gutted. It was cleaned up, ready to be finished.
Mm-hmm.
They liked the idea of that.
Yeah, I mean, that for those guys, what they were looking to do, that makes the most sense for them, is to be able to buy something where they can go in and just do what they want. It's ready to go. They just can start designing their cabinets and their layout and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It made a lot of sense. Unfortunately, they made an offer that was, below list price that the seller wasn't willing to go for.
Yeah.
And so the seller ultimately decided, no, I think I can do this on my own and do better.
Some of that sweat equity,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely. Which we see that happen. Sometimes sellers are like, hey, I'll just go ahead and do it myself, and I can, make a little bit more money doing this.
And that's a good comment to think about, because I know, like, talking generationally, like the baby boomers, they were really big into building sweat equity into homes, but like I find our generation not so much. It's more like, hey, I don't really want to get into that. I'd rather it just be done and ready to move in.
That is a big change that we've seen. I mean, I got in the business in '99, and for that first 10 or plus years, there was a lot of people that say, hey, I can do this on my own. I want to get it cheaper so I can go in there and justify, updating everything.
Yep.
And nowadays we are seeing, whether it's even generations or just the time now, that most people are like, no, I'm too busy.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I want to just buy it and use it. Most people might be okay with changing a few paint colors, maybe swapping out an appliance or two, but they're not real interested in having to do a total update on something.
No. And, and this is a conversation that we could go down a rabbit hole with, but I'm not going to do it. Time. It seems like nowadays when it comes to life, you just have less and less time to do things. Everybody seems to be working twice as hard and making less money than what they used to, and everything costs so much more. So you really have to be focused on where you spend your time anymore. Do I want to spend the time building sweat equity, or would I rather go outside and play with my kids?
Sure, absolutely.
And we've got, thank God, we've got a lot more families that are spending more time with their kids and less time working and stuff like that. So just kind of a generational shift, and I won't go down that rabbit hole.
No, but it's very true, obviously, and time is very valuable.
Yeah, and so we're trying to, wrap these a little quicker up. I can see we're already at 23 minutes. We thank you all for sticking with us. Is there anything else we need to talk about with, Peggy's clients?
No, I mean, I'm hoping we'll see that they'll come back around and buy something.
Yeah.
They seem like pretty cool guys, and I'd love to see some of the work that they've done. Looks like they've got a good eye for style and fashion and everything.
Absolutely. So we got a little preview. Next episode.
We're going to be, featured obviously in the next episode. It's a special one for us. Are we going to let the cat out of the bag? They kind of did with the preview.
Well, yeah, they kind of did. So Jonas.
It's me and my wife looking at real estate.
Yeah.
So kind of a reversal of roles here, because normally these shows you see the realtors showing their clients around and everything, and this time, my wife and I, we were looking for a house to purchase.
And so obviously Jonas and I do most everything together, so I knew about it. So we were both kind of looking at the same time. And what's funny is the way you bought is the same way we see a lot of younger people buy, where they always want a family member to kind of, be involved with them and just say, yeah, this is a good idea.
A lot of people like that reassurance.
Yeah.
So we're really excited for everyone to see next week's episode. It should be a good one, kind of see our role. Still, it's nerve-wracking whenever, even as a realtor that's been doing this for 25 years, helping other people buy and sell real estate, making that decision to buy something can be nerve-wracking. So we're excited for everybody to see next week's episode.
Yeah, and I wanted to point out that reassurance that we talked about, that's the reason artificial intelligence will never replace the real estate agent.
Absolutely.
So, I'm going to leave that one there, just kind of hanging out there, maybe drop the mic a little bit. But I think that's going to pretty much wrap us up for Lakefront Hangover, episode 5.
Yep.
Did I forget anything?
I think we covered it all. We probably messed a few things up. We're sorry about that if we did, but it is what it is. Yeah. We're not perfect.
We're human. Well, I am. You're not.
Okay, sure.
We do appreciate you guys tuning in. We're excited about the next episode. We're going to be hot and heavy in that episode, and
we'll see you back here next week.
Yeah, we'll see you back next week. Have a great day, great week, and
go Chiefs.